Hot Corner. I'm Ryan Trexler, joined here by editor Sam Stewart. Sam, how you doing today?
Pretty good.
Good. Topic for today, SU offensive coordinator Coach Yurcich makes the move to Oklahoma State University. Sam, what do you feel about that move?
Huge for SU, huge for Oklahoma State as well. They're getting a stud. I saw the article on ESPN.com a couple hours ago, and saw the move that Yurcich was going to Oklahoma State. He brought a lot of power to this SU offense, set records in 2011, 2012. The 2012 season was by far their best. First in the nation in total yards, second in the nation in total touchdowns, but total points per game. So when you have an offense like that, especially in 2009 when Rocky Reese was the coach, they had the wing T, which is completely different from what they run now. They run more of a spread option attack, kind of like what you see in the NFL, but exactly what you see at Oklahoma State. Todd Monken was Oklahoma State's offensive coordinator before this. He got a job at Southern Miss. That team went 0-12, so hopefully he does something to improve that. But Yurcich is going from an offense at Shippensburg that mirrored Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State was in the top 10 in total yards per game, points per game, passing yards per game. So that offense, that high-flying offense that Oklahoma State has, is going to fit in well with what Yurcich has been doing at Shippensburg.
Right. Oklahoma State did finish last season 8-5. Hopefully Yurcich can help them. We're going to bring in Nick Setman today. He's outside the office. Nick, you with us?
Yep, I'm with you, Ryan. Good.
What do you feel about the Yurcich move going to Oklahoma State? How do you feel about that one?
I completely agree with Sam. I think it's a great move for Oklahoma State, obviously, because just all the talent that he had here and what he was able to work with a Division II school, and to be able to go, to a Division I school, obviously, with all the success he had, and dealing with Oklahoma State and a D1 school, you're going to get, bigger, faster, stronger, more talented athletes. The recruitment process is going to be better. I just think all around it's a great move. I know, looking at a couple things here, he's going to have a young quarterback to work with, and granted, I know that it's said on the report that I read too. Yurcich works really well with quarterbacks, and obviously he's going to go there as the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. But he's going to build a relationship with quarterbacks, and that's a key. Look at the people in the NFL.
Well, Nick, you were saying about that with the quarterbacks too. He's inheriting a group of quarterbacks that all played some parts of last season. In Oklahoma State, they had 3 quarterbacks get snaps last. Actually, they had 5 quarterbacks get snaps last year. 3 of them were primarily starters. They had 3 quarterbacks who threw over 1,000 yards of the season. So he's going to have a competition. They're all. I think he has 2 seniors and he'll have 1 sophomore coming into this spring practice. So I don't think he really has a starter that he has to work with. I think he's going to have what happened to him 2 years ago when he had Zulli fighting for that spot to start. I think he's going to have one of those, and I think if Yurcich does what he did with Ship, that he'll have one of those quarterbacks like Zulli come in, take control of that offense, and then be his main guy.
Yeah, but if you look, I'm looking at the boy Walsh, okay, and you said the sophomore. That's his sophomore quarterback that he'll have to deal with. Redshirted in 2011. Started a good many games last year. He's somebody that he could groom. I know he has some other, people that he can deal with, but, you made a mention to this, high-octane, air raid offense that they have. I just looked, at the recruitment of the, 20-plus recruits that they'll have this year. They have 2 4-star wide receivers coming in, and they have a bunch of really talented wide receivers. So that's just going to add to his success at Oklahoma State because, that's what he built here. That's what he's going to build there. So taking away from the quarterback side, if he can even just, they said they're, trying to make a mention to Marcellus Aitman, who's actually, a 4-star wide receiver from Texas. Rashard Samples, also another 4-star wide receiver coming to Oklahoma State. They both, had no idea who the offensive coordinator was going to be whenever they came there. And obviously just yesterday, making a mention.
They have to be giddy when they found this out.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's not even a move that was really that popular. A lot of people don't know who this guy is. And I've had to go up on the ESPN boards and actually be like, hey, I know who this guy is. I've seen him. I've seen his schemes. I've seen his strategies work. But I think a lot of people who don't know who Yurcich is, they're looking at the 2 games against Winston-Salem State and IUP and what their offense did not do during those games. Their offense was anemic. They looked awful for the most part in those 2 games. So I think they're looking at when Yurcich was in the biggest games of Division II, that his offense didn't compete to what he usually did. So I think they're kind of iffy about what he brings to the table. So I really don't know what's going to happen, what's not. But I feel like the Oklahoma State fan base is going to have a little bit of a learning curve with him, per se.
Yeah, but I mean, he's coming from a Division II Shippensburg University, which people in Oklahoma aren't going to really know what Shippensburg University is, and not going to really know, the pedigree of Mike Yurcich. So, yeah, you're right. They are, going to have to get used to the fact, of learning to see what this guy's going to bring in. But at the same time, you can't argue with his numbers. You can't argue with the success he's had. And I'm pretty sure that they're going to be pretty pleased when they see that, Oklahoma State isn't going to change offensively.
Like you both said, I mean, a lot of people don't really know him from Oklahoma State. He's coming from a small community, a small school like Shippensburg, but we have had great success. He helped us lead to the PaySac East title. SU led the nation last season in total offense with just under 530 yards. I know we were talking before, possibly, maybe even he gets into the NFL in a couple of years. Nick, what do you think about Yurcich possibly making the transition, maybe 5, 6, 7 years into the NFL? Do you think he does that? If he has good success at OSU? What do you think, Nick?
Listen, I'm going completely off of looking at the New England Patriots and how the New England Patriots do not rely on a running game. You have Stephen Ridley, and a couple other Danny Woodheads running the football, and it's mostly a high, I'm going to pass to Wes Welker, I'm going to pass to, Gronkowski and my other tight ends. I feel that a guy like Mike Yurcich, who wants, that kind of pass type offense, I'm pretty sure that an NFL team, down the lines with the way things go, with coordinators getting shipped around, in and out of the game, I'm pretty sure that they're going to look at him if they can see he can have the same success at Oklahoma State that he did at Shippensburg. I mean, that's just my opinion. I think he'll be there. I know that right now the quarterback's coach for, the Super Bowl champion, Baltimore Ravens, actually at one point in time was the offensive coordinator at Juniata College, back, where I'm from, Huntington County. So it's possible. And I'm saying he might not be an offensive coordinator in the NFL, but he could probably be a quarterback's coach.
Sam, what do you think? I mean, you think Yurcich makes the transition in 5, 6, 7 years to the NFL?
Well, who's really to know what's going to happen? You're going from a Division II school like Ship, and you're going to Division I. You're jumping to Division I-A, the FBS, not the FCS, where that little middle ground you can probably gauge how good you'll be. He's going to Oklahoma State, which is a solid team in the Big 12, and they have been for a couple of years now. So you're going from Division II with that competition to Division I. Yurcich is a guy who I believe will have success at Oklahoma State, but I don't think he'll go into the NFL just yet. Nick said he can make it in some capacity, which is true. He probably could. Not in 5 to 7 years, though. I would give it maybe 10 to 15. The guy's young. He's only 37. So he still has time to grow, move, do the things that he wants. But I have a feeling that he's going to be another Todd Monken. He's going to come in for Oklahoma State, do his thing, lead Oklahoma State to a couple wins here and there. I think with him at the helm this year, they'll have a chance at the Big 12 title. But I think he's going to be like Todd Monken. He's going to take a coaching job somewhere else in college football. Might not be at Southern Miss where Todd Monken went, but he might go to an Akron or a BYU. I would see BYU, but a Buffalo or.
All right, Sam. But more importantly, what sounds more, of an opportunity for you? What sounds better, being, a quarterback's coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars or being a head coach at Akron?
I'd rather be the head coach at Akron.
I'd rather be the head coach at Akron than being an NFL team.
Jacksonville's terrible. Oh.
Jacksonville's terrible now, but in 5 years, they're still an NFL team. You're still making an NFL salary compared to being the head coach at Akron.
If you want to talk about money, then yes, I would go to the NFL. But if you're I've always been adamant about the fact, look at Nick Saban, look at Les Miles. Joe Paterno was like this before the whole scandal broke out. Jim Tressel had this. When you are a coach of a college football team for years on years, you build your own legacy at that school. And you have the dream job. You'll never leave, and they'll pay you as much money as they possibly can. So you're in that position for life. In the NFL, you're moving around here, you're moving around there. You're fired, you're rehired, you're fired again if you don't perform up to standards, unless you're Rex Ryan. But if you're in college football, I just believe that you're in a spot that can pretty much you can pretty much build your own legacy around a school like the Paternos, like Tressel. Lloyd Carr did it to some retrospect, but Bo Schembechler back in the 60s and 70s, he did the same. I think he can do something like that. It's hard.
Why can't he be like a Pete Carroll?
What about Pete Carroll? He cheated and then he went to Seattle.
But he still built a legacy there at USC that USC hasn't had since then. Am I right?
Well, it's too early. It's too early to tell. They're still in that growing process after him.
It's too early to tell, and yet Pete Carroll's already had success with the Seattle Seahawks.
Let's back to the question you proposed. You proposed a question of rather being a quarterback coach in the NFL or being a head coach in Akron. What would you rather take? Would you rather be in the Big Show, or would you rather be coach in Akron? I mean, what would you rather have?
I mean, I'd rather go to the Big Show. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what everybody wants to do. I mean, honestly, Chip Kelly going from Oregon to the Philadelphia Eagles with all he could do with Philadelphia. I mean, no, he had success at Oregon. He should have stayed at Oregon. He shouldn't have went to the Philadelphia Eagles, but why did he? Because he wants that. He wants that adventure to see what it's going to be like. And I feel that if Yurcich would be presented the opportunity to be a coach in some capacity in the NFL, he would take it over a head coaching job at, say, a smaller school like in Akron. I'm just saying that's what I would rather do.
What if he got offered a job at like Ohio State or a Purdue, LSU?
Okay, you're bringing up that now though. Originally you said like in Akron. You didn't say like an LSU, an Ohio State, a USC, and Notre Dame. You didn't say like a big, Division I school.
Chip Kelly from Oregon.
Yeah, I brought up Chip Kelly from Oregon, saying that he went to the NFL for the adventure, for the excitement.
There for the money.
I mean, money. Obviously, let's face it. Money is a big thing in today's sports. I mean, a lot of people make moves for the money, and let's say it's not for the money. Say it's for the sole love of the game. Do you think he goes, Sam? Do you think he goes for the sole love of the game if he gets the opportunity to go to the NFL?
No.
Nick, sole opportunity to go to the NFL.
Word.
Yes. Yes.
There it is. I mean, you guys obviously have different points of views. Me personally, I think if he fits in right at OSU, he stays. I mean, only time will tell. That's all we got for today. On behalf of Sam Stewart, Nick Setman, I'm Ryan Trexler. That was your Hot Corner.